hate the idea of niching? Do you feel boxed in and just resist the idea and don't want to pick that one thing, but you hear that's the advice and that's what you should do? I have found a different perspective on it, and I found something that works for me because I have felt exactly the same myself. So stick around.
Hey, my name is Olivia D'Souza. I'm dedicated to helping multi-passionate entrepreneurs turn their dreams into reality by building a career and a life they love and making a positive impact in the world. I'm a podcast and social media manager, a singer-songwriter, a kids music creator, a fadishta, a wife and a mum. I'm the secret weapon behind many 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs, helping them shine a light and call in the people they are here to serve. And now I'm here to help you. This podcast is here to help you learn and be inspired. You'll learn about podcasting, lead generation, business, and all about the real life stories of people behind the businesses just like you. Think of it as a place to hang out with your like-minded business bestie who gets what it's like. So grab a cuppa and hit subscribe so we can hang out again. This is Magnetic Pod, the podcast.
I am here and I'm ready to be brave. Cannot miss me, I'll stand on every stage. I'm available for my destiny to reach my people. Gonna be a star, so if you pass on me.
Hey friend, before we dive into today's episode, remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the tips we share in Magnetic Pod on podcasting, lead generation, and business boosting ideas. And remember, if you have or you're thinking about starting a podcast, head over to my website at livymusicmedia.com/freebies. I have loads and loads of free resources and templates that will help you get started. The link is in my show notes. Now, here's your show.
Now, before we dive in, remember to hit subscribe so that you can see more content just like this. Okay, let's do this. So I have a lot of different passions. I am a singer-songwriter. I have been a kids entertainer. I have sung Portuguese fado music. I have sung opera. I have worked in a stationery business selling stationery and office furniture. I have created websites. I've worked as a VA. I have managed podcasts and social media, which I'm still doing. And for some of that time, I have been looking for the one thing and wondering, what is my thing? What is my one thing that I should be doing? And it's something I have struggled with a bit. And then I had the realization last year that I have ADHD. And that is very common, that people with ADHD often have lots of different interests. And once I discovered that about myself, I realized that I can't fight it, and nor should I, and that if you are multi-passionate, whether or not it is ADHD, that if maybe you should consider that that's the way you are, and to learn to work with the way you are instead of against it, to embrace it and to see the power of it. So I had this major epiphany that I had ADHD, and one of the things I did when I realized and saw that I had all the traits before I had the actual diagnosis is I messaged a friend of mine who has ADHD, and she's very proud to be neurodivergent, and she says it's a superpower. And I had this epiphany and I sent her a message, oh my gosh, I think I've got ADHD. And she went, ha 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 ha, yes you do. And a little while later I came back to her because I was gathering evidence because I wanted the diagnosis, and I said, okay, what is it that made you think that I had ADHD? And she said, you've had more career changes in the time that I've known you than most people have in their lifetime. And I went, okay. And she also said that I go off on tangents, which I think I've just done here. Okay, so every thought reminds me of something else. Okay, so the point is, if you know that about yourself, there are ways to work with it. So what I have come to realize is that my niche is the person, not the thing that I do. So my niche is basically people like me. If you're here, you are an entrepreneur, you are someone who is passionate, you are someone who wants to have time freedom, you want to make more money, you want to do something that you love, and you want to make a positive impact on the world. That's me, but it's also all my clients are that. So instead of niching the thing that I do or the service or the content that I make or all of those things, I can niche in the sense that I provide content or services that suit the person that I'm here to serve. And the person I'm here to serve is basically someone just like me. So that kind of makes it easier too. All I have to do is be myself. All you have to do is be yourself. What that means for me in content creation, for example, and Magnetic Pod, this podcast, is initially I created it to educate how to set up a podcast, how to have a successful podcast, and all of the things that I've learned over the years of doing it and helping other people. And also sharing lead generation tips. But knowing about myself and knowing that I am multi-passionate and don't want to just stick to this only, I now know and feel confident to bring in other aspects of anything that I would be interested in as an entrepreneur and as a passionate business owner. What is it like? What's the story behind somebody who has set up a business? What are the hardships that they've faced? How did they overcome them? What happens to them in their personal life? What are their hopes and aspirations and how did they get there? And there's a lot more of that I'm going to be doing this year. And that is all niching in the sense that it's to my ideal client, but it's not strictly saying I'm only going to talk about this and this. And the other advantage of doing that is once somebody's set up their podcast or done the thing that they came to check out the how-to for, they'll leave if that's all you've got. But if they can connect with you, see you as a whole person just like they are, then that is a way that you can expand from just narrowing right down to only talking about one thing. The other thing that I am playing with, because I am learning about myself and how to manage the world and plan differently, knowing that this is something that I have, which I think is whether or not you identify as having ADHD, if you know that you have all these passions and you hate the idea of narrowing down, then you can even accept that about yourself and plan accordingly. So I'm going to share a story with you. I saw a TikTok from a creator called Jake from Creative Hackers, and it is about David Bowie. Basically, Jake is using him as an example of niching up, not niching down. So with David Bowie, he spent about 9 years trying to make it in the music industry. He shows this photo of him. And he was same as everybody else and playing it safe and doing what was expected of him. And he ended up getting the criticism of having no personality. And he realized that he needed a break and to just do his own thing. So for a while, he just explored all his passions. So in his time off, he explored his passions, and that's avant-garde theatre, mime, and science fiction movies, and of course music. And he stacked them all together, put it all together, and came up with the character Dizzy Stardust. And he was far from boring, right? And he is incredible and was incredible and incredibly talented, and he found his power by being himself. So if he's a multi-talented, multi-passionate person, instead of fighting that, bring it together. So instead of niching down, I'm a singer, I only sing and I sing this type of genre and I just do this, he went, I'm a singer and I love avant-garde and I love mime and I'm going to stack them all together and I'm going to create this. So I loved that idea. So think about that for yourself and have a play with that. How could you possibly bring the things together that you love? I love that. So basically, be yourself. Usually our niche target market is someone just like us. So the more you are yourself, the more you'll stand out from the crowd and the more you'll attract people who appreciate who you are. And have a play with how you can bring your different passions together. I would love to hear from you if you have ideas of how you might do that, if that's triggered something in you. I'd love to hear from you. So if you're watching this as a video, comment below, or otherwise you can message me on Libby Music Media, Livvi Music Media. So if that was helpful to you, please subscribe and see you next time.
So, what were your key takeaways from today? Did it raise any questions? What would you like to know more about? Let me know. You can contact me via social media or email. I don't care which way you use, just reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you. And remember, you can get access to lots of free podcast resources that will help you get started or help you improve your podcast at livvymusicmedia.com/freebies. hit subscribe because I want to see you again. But for now, go forth, be the awesome person you are, live the life you want to live, and have fun. You've got this. See you next time.
Show them who I be, unavoidable everywhere you see me. Reach my people, claim my power. There's no hierarchy. It is me and the universe, baby. Rock solid and so ready to reach my people.
Hello, it's Livy here. Have you ever wondered about what the key elements are that make a podcast truly stand out? Or maybe you're thinking about starting your own special podcast and feel a bit overwhelmed and don't know where to start. Well, I have something for you. Introducing the Ultimate Podcast Checklist. Da, 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 da. It's a step-by-step guide that covers everything from the initial brainstorming to advanced growth strategies. It's the perfect companion for both new and seasoned podcasters. And the best part, it's absolutely free. Da, 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 da. To grab your copy, simply head to the show notes of this episode and you will find a direct link there, and then away you go. Remember, every podcast started with that initial spark and the right resource, so let the Ultimate Podcasting Checklist be yours.